Hey, what's happening everybody? Willie here at the Great Outdoors. Just getting the old table of contents sent up here for another good teardown. That's right. Right there we got another teardown. We got a 1777 Shakespeare. Now this reel appears to be in really good shape other than the fact that the crank arm has pretty much, it's given up. Yeah, the plastic piece around the end has give up the ghost, ladies and gentlemen. It is gone out of here. And I have been brainstorming. That's right. And usually when I brainstorm, it passes 30, it just goes right on quick. It's just a slight downpour. Anyway, trying to figure out a way to revitalize the crank arm in this thing and be able to use it. But first thing we're going to do is the reel appears to be in good shape. Everything is working the way it should be, other than it really needs a good cleaning. Now, this is not an underspin. This is a typical, you know what I'm saying? You understand where I'm going with that? It's your typical. That's right. It is your typical spin cast reel. For Shakespeare, you had your drag up top, as we've talked about before. The only thing I didn't like about this model was the button. I didn't like this slick button. Really, it's very awkward to keep your thumb on because your thumb is either completely straight up and down here or up here too far to really rock it back and forth and set the button off the way you want to. So not a huge fan of the button, but other than that, the reel looks really nice. It's not dented or dinged or beat up. So let's just get this thing apart, get it cleaned up, see what she looks like inside, and see if we can't make it look brand new again. And let's come up with an idea for that crank right there. I'm scheming. I still got things. There's things cooking up here. I mean, if you were here, you'd go, is somebody burning tires? But it's not tires burning, it's just me. Anyway, let's get this thing tore apart and get you down to the table here, and we'll get in this guy and see what's going on here. What can we fix? What's not broken that I can break? You know, that kind of thing. Tell you, I've gotten so good at setting that camera, I almost know exactly where to put it each time. I need a bowl. Somebody give me a bowl. Hey, get off there, you darn screwdriver. 2 bowls here just in case. Let's go with this cap first. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Still got our felt strip up in there. It looks pretty darn good. We'll have to be really careful cleaning the cap up and that we don't mess that up. Now, here's one difference on the 1777 you're going to see is there is no screw up on top here, okay? You have to grab a hold of the crank arm here and you unscrew that rotor off of there. That's how that works. Well, let's put that in the bigger hole. Some old oil grease stuff going on there. That's easy, no big deal. Now for the big thing. Getting those screws out of there without breaking them. Alright, these screws are coming out really easily, which I'm really happy about. Huh, this one's even different than I'm used to seeing. Nifty. I like seeing different stuff. That makes me just feel funny inside. Look at that. Got a little copper landing post there for the shaft there, the pinion shaft to ride on. That's pretty cool. Still not a lot of moving parts, not a lot going on there. Because when you don't have a drag inside to have to deal with, you don't have a lot of parts to have to deal with. Alright, let's get this acorn nut off of here. Do we have a star washer under there? Nope. No star washer there. As you can see, this crank arm is in pretty foul shape. Do we have any washers? We'll put that in there. And this is all the little pieces that we have. That's all the little just screws and an acorn nut. Isn't that crazy? That's just nuts. No, it's actually screws, and there's one acorn nut. So that's just screws and a nut. That is going to be, that right there, that's going to be. That is going to be. I'm thinking about that though. I already bought some things that might work in this particular issue, but we're going to see. We'll set that right there. And as of right now, well, wait a minute, we ain't done yet. I'm getting way ahead of myself. How does that work? Well, wait a minute, may not even have to. Yeah, we still have to. That would have been really nice if they would have made that where it went right through. But they didn't. So we have what looks to be, yep, one of those little clips. Let's get that out of there. There it is. Set that there. We will let the spring go, and this little landing board here for the clip will go there. We will pull the shaft out, put it in the cleaning section with the spring and the gear. Take a look at that gear, make sure there's no, yep, doesn't matter which way you put the gear in, all is good. There's a washer. I knew there'd be one. We'll set that washer there. We'll clean that up in just a bit. And I'm going to go to the sink and we'll clean these guys up. Alright, here we are. We're back. I want to show you the crank arm first. That's best I can do unless I get a little buffing wheel and try to get all that taken care of. But got some work to do on this first before I go crazy with it. So probably going to file that down flat, knock it through, and go from there and see what we can come up with. But anyway, that's that. The rest of the reel came out really good, and it came out so good that it's almost, how do I say this? It has been used, but it was taken care of. Thing's really clean and really good shape. So we're going to quickly get this reel back together again. So there probably won't be any talking whatsoever on this particular part because I really want to get this built and get working on the crank arm and see what we can do for that. So anyway, I'm just going to commence and not do a whole lot of gabbing. Alright, so now before I can completely finish putting the reel back together again, I have to figure out what I am going to do with the crank arm. Now what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to file that down flat and then knock this pin out. And then we are going to have to replace it with something. I think I got it coming out. There we go. It almost looks like that thing's got a crack in it. Yep, it is cracked. I could see that when I was sanding on it that thing had a crack right there, but we're going to see if we can't do something to keep it from going to pieces on us until we find us a new crank for it. Now what I have is some random spacers and some stainless steel bolts, nuts, and washers here, and we're going to see if we can't build us some form of crank here. It's a shame that's cracked though. I kept filing and I kept noticing a little line right there, and I'm like, that looks like a crack. And then the more I messed with it, the more it became more pronounced. And then I looked on this side and it's actually cracked. But we're gonna try to maintain. Big thing is, will that go through? Yes, man, picked that just right. Okay, so this is going up this way. This is going to be the top. So what are we going to go with? We're going to go with aluminum. Is that going to work? That's really tiny. Or we can go with the plastic that looks very, very reminiscent of, let's go with the plastic. That looks like a Johnson older century, like the 100s or the 110s. Let's put us another washer here. Then we're going to run this nut up to that. We're not going to tighten it because we don't want to tighten it there. Another washer. Now I just need to tighten these two nuts and sandwich them onto the crank itself, which ain't going to be easy because I ain't got no daggone little tiny teeny weeny tiny teenies to go in there. So I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. Maybe my little nurdle noses will hold that nut. Is that loose? That's loose. And then we'll do this. That's the best I got for right now. That's spinning. They are tied up against each other. Probably should have used little lock washers. That would have been better, but I had to go with what I could find. Now, let's clean that nut up real quick because I didn't clean that. I want everything to be clean. Shakespeare ain't got nothing on me. Alright, and we are going to put this boy back together here. She's got a little bit of a growl to her. Now, the one thing I didn't do was clean the cap. I'm going to go clean this cap up real quick and I'll be right back. Guess what I'm doing? That's right. I love this part. This is a very satisfying part. A very big, warm, fuzzy gratification sort of. It just feels good. Came out really nice. It's a very clean reel. Wasn't used a heck of a lot, I don't believe. I mean, it's hardly any scratches, and obviously it was taken care of because it wasn't dropped on its cap every time you turned around. And best of all, it now has a functioning crank for it there. It ain't the best thing going, but it works until I find another one. I'll come across probably a reel somewhere down the line. It's in terrible shape, but the crank arm's still in good shape maybe. But it's very much like the Johnson Century, the 100s, the straight 100s and the 110s. Hold on, I'll show you. So as you can see, here is a Johnson 100. This is just a straight 100 Century. Okay? And there's my Shakespeare version. Isn't that cool? And it's really no different. But works quite well. It's got a little roar to it. And it could be that I put the gear back in upside down. And when I say upside down, the pinion gear can go in either way. But when you get a gear that's been used and it kind of makes its little trails in that gear with the crank gear, when you put it back in the opposite direction, well, now it's grinding against it. But it's not bad. It ain't bad at all. So, like I said, I don't believe this thing was used that much. But there you go. You just have to remember that where there's a Willie, there's a way. Not sure how I feel about that, but when you get these things, you have to remember that there's going to be some that are going to make you happy, some that are going to make you sad, and some that are going to have fabrication. There you go, though. This is really cool. Actually, I'm looking forward to using it. Even though I'm not a big fan of the sliding board button here, I'm still going to enjoy using this. Everything works just great. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Shakespeare 1777. And you know what we didn't do? We didn't look up the year of this one. I know it's 50 something. Hold on one second here. All right, what do we got? FC. FC. F is 50. C is 8. Okay, 1958. This particular model, 1958. I don't know how many years they made that model, but the model and design that you're seeing here, 1958. Very cool. Nice looking. Cap's in great shape. Good looking reel. With a brand new fancy hand crank. That'll work. It'll do the job. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to getting this one out on the water just to show that it can be done, you know. Of course, it can all be done. And you can do whatever you set your mind to. That's something your parents used to say, but that's not true about everything. I mean, don't get on top of the house and think, I can fly. You know, it's because you can't, okay? I mean, you can, depending on the height of your house. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one, whatever the next one may be. I might put some line on this one. Find a rod over here. Like that's going to be hard to do.